Hey fam, welcome back to another vlog. In today's video, I just want to do a quick intro and cut right into it. We are going to be talking about my 4, 5, and 6 week pregnancy symptoms. Let's jump right into my pregnancy symptoms. Alright, so let's start with week 4, which makes the most sense. Week 4, my biggest symptom was insomnia. I have not been able to sleep for the life of me. It's been pretty crazy and I don't know why. I don't remember this with my first one. I mean, I know why, I guess, but I don't remember this with my first one. And it's not so great because my fatigue has been at an all-time high. And so not being able to sleep for hours in the middle of the night combined with just exhaustion, fatigue throughout the day has been pretty hard, especially having a toddler to care for this time around. It's been pretty exhausting. Like, my husband has been amazing and he's been so helpful, but it's definitely been much harder trying to manage and like do everything. Like, I tend to just like lay on the floor most mornings because I'm so tired. I also had dreams, super vivid dreams, none that I can like remember, but I know that when I would wake up, I'd be like, oh my god, this dream was crazy. Like, I remember talking about it and it felt so real in the moment. So I know that's a pretty common pregnancy symptom for a lot of women. And that topped off my 4 weeks. I found out right at 4 weeks, basically, when I would do that whole like ovulation tracking thing. So the 4th week was pretty simple. Insomnia, fatigue, and vivid dreams. I had the same symptoms for the 5th week, insomnia and fatigue. I just have it like on my notes here. That's why I'm looking back and forth through this. And those were my symptoms, but the one weird thing I did have was I had a super intense craving for hot sauce. Like, I was putting hot sauce on everything, and I like hot sauce, but not to that extent, so I knew that that was like a weird craving, and that actually subsided after the 5 weeks. So basically after that, like, I went back to normal and like I didn't want hot sauce again for anything, and that was basically week 5. Nothing too exciting, nothing too crazy. Obviously you're still like very early in your pregnancy, so you kind of have that like nervousness constantly and that anxiety of like what could go wrong, all that fun stuff. 6 weeks, actually there was a 5th week thing I forgot to mention. So in my 5th week I was having like a lot of like sharp pains in my left ovary is what it felt like, kind of like low in there kind of thing. Oh, thank you, gentle. And at one point it like my whole left side of my stomach went numb, and so I had called my doctor, blah blah blah. They basically told me that if it continues to get severe, they will bring me in, whatever. But then I ended up getting blood work done for a month. Like, I don't know why, they just want blood work, I guess, done just to make sure my levels look good, my HCG levels. And then they basically told me that they want me to come in for an ultrasound. So I did get an ultrasound at about 6 weeks. I actually measured like 5 weeks and 6 days at the time of the ultrasound, so this is kind of my 5th week. Baby looked good. Baby already had a heartbeat of 122, so that was like really reassuring and like really positive, because that pain was just like so weird and I've not had it before, and it was just so sharp. And like the concerning thing was obviously when my stomach went numb, and I was like, that's odd. So everything looked good. They didn't find any issues with my uterus or anything like that either. So then 6 weeks hit, and this is where I got my lovely nausea that started to show up. Aside from my insomnia and just fatigue and exhaustion, I became pretty nauseous, and I would say that it was more of just like an all-day queasiness. It wasn't like I was super sick, but just like nothing sounded good. It was just like finding things to eat. It was like a pain in the butt, and you just like would have like weird cravings, which are, as a matter of fact, my cravings still to this day, I'm a little over 7 weeks, are watermelon, like fruit, any type of fruit, blueberries, raspberries, pineapple, banana, like all the fruits, acai bowls, and those are my cravings in the 6th week. Like, that's all I wanted to eat, and it was the same exact thing that I had with my little one that I have now, who's 16 months old. So the 6th week also brought attention to a skin condition that they discovered I had called Pityriasis Rosea. If you have not heard of it, it's not really much not much is known about it other than it's like a viral infection, and it basically resembles ringworm, which is what I thought I had when it first started. So when it first started, it looked like a ringworm spot. I've had ringworm before. I wasn't that worried about it. I was treating it and it was just spreading nonstop. So I was getting super paranoid. I went to my PCP. They basically diagnosed me with ringworm, gave me medication, blah, blah, blah. That didn't end up helping, so I had to end up going to a dermatologist, and then this is when they diagnosed me with Pityriasis Rosea. So apparently Pityriasis Rosea resembles ringworm, looks just like ringworm. There's nothing you can do about it though. There's no treatment. It basically will spread until it goes away, and it usually stems from a viral infection. So looking back on the timeline, I basically got this first spot of ringworm, which now is actually called a Herald patch because it wasn't actually a ringworm, around 3 weeks pregnant. I had obviously not known I was pregnant at the time because I found out at 4 weeks, but it basically just started spreading from there, and I'm 7 weeks now and I still have it. It's getting a little better, but it's still there nonetheless, and there's really no treatment for it. And the only thing that kind of sucked about it was they kind of said that it could have an impact on pregnancy, so that made me super nervous. So my dermatologist basically said that it could have an impact on pregnancy, and there wasn't much information about it, and they didn't know what kind of impact, but he basically was like, yeah, it could increase your risk of miscarriage. So that was like really hard to hear at the appointment because one, I've never had this skin condition before, and two, it was just that, like, it wasn't any more information as to why, what it is, what can cause it, how it can actually really affect the fetus. And so it was just like nerve-wracking at the time to get that kind of information, especially since the first trimester is already so stressful with all the things that could go wrong. So obviously I left the doctor's office a nervous wreck. I was so happy to finally get an answer for what my rash was, because I was like, it's spreading nonstop, which now makes sense. My immune system was compromised obviously when I got pregnant, so like my body just wasn't fighting whatever was in my system, and the viral infection basically just got the best of me, and it caused me to really have some skin issues because of it. It was just like a symptom of the viral infection, but it was just really hard to get the news that it could possibly affect my baby, which I had just heard the heartbeat and everything looked good, and it was just like, it's 10 times harder to know that there's a heartbeat, things are looking great, and then to find out like something could go wrong and you just have no control and there's nothing you can do about it. So I tried reaching out to my OB and trying to like get some answers and seeing like if there's anything that they can tell me or do or treat, but they basically like had nothing to tell me. They didn't know much about it themselves, and they're like, yeah, it's just treat it with what you can, and that's that. And the problem being pregnant is that you can't really treat things because everything can potentially impact the fetus, so they ended up just giving me a steroid cream to just help with the itch, but it wouldn't actually treat the rash because it was basically untreatable. It just goes away on its own. I couldn't take like any kind of oral pill or any like oral type of medication just because of the side effects it could have to the baby. I then texted my good friend who is a nurse, and she kind of reassured me that there's not much I can do either. And yeah, so it was just kind of a whirlwind and a roller coaster dealing with that. Obviously, I'm hoping everything's still fine. I don't have an ultrasound for another few weeks again, so I'm just hoping that because I don't have symptoms of a miscarriage, that the baby's doing well, everything looks good, and I'm hoping that because my rash is getting better and stuff like that, it just kind of will go away. And also the other positive news that if you or any of you mamas are going through this and have had this rash or having this rash, My good friend did speak to an OB that works at Brigham and Women's, and she said that it's a total myth of women having miscarriages because of this. She said that she's had plenty of patients that have had Pityriasis Rosea pregnant and they were all fine. So that was very wonderful news, and I was so happy to hear that from like an actual OB that has had experience with it and has actually treated patients, because I was really nervous. As all you mamas out there are, that first trimester is just so brutal, and nothing can ease your mind other than just like getting an ultrasound and hearing the baby's heartbeat and just get to see the baby and make sure and just be told that everything looks good. Kind of my 6 weeks. It was a pretty eventful. My nausea started coming, got diagnosed with a skin condition that was caused by a viral infection that no one knows what that viral infection is. And here I am 7 weeks and 3 days today, and I am still nauseous. I'm doing so good. We are so grateful to be pregnant and expect another little one to bring another sibling, or a sibling for our little Kira. We are just so blessed and so grateful, and aside from all these symptoms, like, I wouldn't want it any other way. We just love this little baby so much already, and we can't wait to see you. Just my symptoms. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button, and also hit the notification bell to be notified every time I post a video. So keep on watching, keep following. I love you guys, and thank you so much for all your love and support. Bye guys. Also just wanted to say that last pregnancy I used like a pregnancy book to kind of track all my symptoms and all my things. Obviously through like the trimesters, but this time I decided to just get a plain journal. This is just a plain little book, and actually, here's my little ultrasound of the little bean at like 6 weeks. I don't know if you guys can see anything. But basically I decided to just keep a journal this time around. I think it's cuter, and I've been just kind of writing notes and like symptoms and stuff. So if you second mamas are just trying to be more simple and basic the second time around, great idea. I've actually been writing in it more, and I just like put my pictures in there like I did with my baby book and pregnancy book and stuff. Cute idea. Just wanted to throw that out there if you guys are trying to keep it a little easier and simpler because you are so busy with a baby already.